It is a pleasure to be with you on the 6:15 News. I'm Kejan Henry Atimbi. Let's flag off with our top stories. The population in Tiko, Buya, Muyuka, Kumba, Ekondotiti, Menji, Bangem, and Mamfi after separatists vow to commemorate 1st October as Independence Day. We are going to have updates on that. And in the Northwest region, it is a man and his wife who were brutally murdered in their home in Sop village of Dongamantong division by gunmen identified as Fulanese. And Canada Dream pushes teenagers to rob a business center in order to finance their trip to their dreamland for greener pastures. Top stories. Thanks and welcome. You can consult us on our social media platforms open for you at any time. And we begin from the southwest region of the country where the inhabitants have been indoors since morning. Economic activities grounded, business places and schools remain closed this October 1, which is said to be the most dangerous day in the English-speaking part of the country due to attempts by separatists to celebrate the Independence Day of the Ambazonian Republic. The day was marked, of course, with the sad happening, the abduction of the divisional officer for Idabatu in the Bakassi Peninsula. Ines Daniel Udwabala reports.
Today is the 1st of October, the longest and most dangerous day in the English-speaking part of Cameroon. The day armed separatist groups are determined to commemorate the independence of the Ambazonian imaginary state. In the northwest and southwest regions, it is a total lockdown as fear gripped the population of the crisis-hit localities of Cameroon. In the southwest region, inhabitants of Limbe, Tiko, Buya, Muyuka, Kumba, Ekondotiti, Menji, Bangem, Mamfi, and the rural area have all stayed indoors. Defense and security forces are patrolling nooks and crannies of the southwest region to preempt any separatist attacks. Schools and streets are all deserted. In a communique, Southwest Governor Benau Kaliabelai urged state agents to remain vigilant and keep all public offices and structures out of danger. He enjoined them to observe a vigil in their respective offices from the 30th of September to the 2nd of October 2024. At press time, no major incident was recorded in the southwest region, except in Dian Division, where the divisional officer of Idiabato in the Bakassi Peninsula has been abducted by armed men said to be pirates. A one-year Roland was kidnapped in the early hours of the 1st of October alongside a council staff whose name we got as a Tongo Ismail. The kidnappers are said to have taken them to an unknown destination through the high sea. Here is an excerpt of the abducted divisional officer of Idiabato, Iwane Roland, talking to Canal International last 20th May in Bakassi.
There is peace, there is harmony, there is no problem in Idiabato.
News of the abduction of the divisional officer has been confirmed by the Nzian senior divisional officer.
Thanks very much, Iner Daniel Undwambala. As well, it's in the northwest region, particularly in the Sop village of the Dongamantong division. It is a man and his wife who were brutally murdered in the early hours of October 1 in their home by gunmen identified as Fulani. And so their residence was burgled, and he was shot while the wife was stabbed many times by the assailants. Mrs. Nyako, who was critically injured, identified the assailants as Fulani men before succumbing to her injuries while being rushed to the Sop Health Center. Both victims' bodies have been taken to the Nkambe mortuary, waiting for further burial arrangements. We'll be coming back to that soon. And there is this disturbing trend that has emerged, as revealing as a sharp and alarming increase in criminal activities in the airports where human bones are being trafficked.
An alarming rise in particularly human bone trafficking has come to light. In a major breakthrough on the night of September 11, 2024, around 8:30 p.m., officers from the Douala Airport Gendarmerie Brigade, acting on a tip-off from an anonymous informant, apprehended 2 suspects of Central African nationality. The informant had revealed that the men were seeking a buyer for a precious package, which later turned out to be human below the efforts of the population for collaborating with the forces of law and order to track down such hoodlums. Following a carefully planned operation, the suspects were arrested and the human bone trafficking network was dismantled. Authorities believe this burst marks a significant step in curbing such criminal activities in the region. The suspects were presented to the media on October 1, 2024. Speaking to the public, Douala's Airport Gendarmerie urged local residents to remain vigilant and cooperate with law enforcement to help maintain security and prevent future criminal operations. I'll recall that whenever a citizen is found in any form of aggression, they should contact the number 113, which is free of charge, and they will receive the prompt intervention of the Gendarmerie. This shocking discovery underscores growing concerns about illegal practices in the region as authorities ramp up efforts to protect citizens and restore order in Douala.
Thanks very much, Serifa. And it is another criminal activity. This time, Canadian Dream turned sour for a group of young men who actually robbed a business center in Bamayo in order to finance their trip to their dream land, that is for greener pastures. The teenagers are known to have attacked the business center in broad daylight. They were tracked from their hideouts days after the act. Details with Hyacinth and Brunhilde Muñoz.
They are educated young Cameroonians aged between 19 and 26, with the most being a holder of a master's degree in public law, the others first degree and baccalaureate certificates. Their mission is to quit the country for Canada. The 4 suspects then embarked on robbing business centers in Bamayo, chief town of the Nyonganso division of the Central region, but were later cracked down by the elements of the national security.
It's a financial area where people are doing financial transaction. Then after they committed that crime, we try our best to make some investigation to arrest them. But the leader of that group was arrested in Yaoundé, especially at Kondengi.
The operation carried out in broad daylight.
That operation took place around 1 p.m. 1 p.m. You see, at this time, those people are used to rest.
Presenting the presumed thieves to the press, on September 30th, the police urged the public for more collaboration.
We need to work together with population, because when we are working with population, it's better for us to better appreciate how to fight against criminality.
The amount stolen stands at over 3 million CFA francs, and they remain behind bars to answer for their crimes.
Well, thanks very much, Hyacinth. The National Communications Council, the NCC, and the Canadian government are training to make sure that they improve on the quality of reporting that is done in the country. And so they met on September 30th. They were receiving audience by the members of the president of the National Communications Council was received in audience by the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon, Lauren Anderson. And that was her first visit to the media watchdog institution. And on the table of discussion was to improve on the press situation in Cameroon, especially in line with press freedom, understanding the challenges of the council and possibly measures to assist. Here is an excerpt of the Canadian High Commissioner speaking after that session.
A courtesy visit, our first time visiting the committee. It was a conversation to determine what are their priorities, the challenges that they're facing when they're discharging their role as regulator as well as protector of the freedom of expression and freedom of the press. And so it was just an opportunity to brainstorm together how Canada could support in terms of making sure there is that equity and equality among the protection, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression, as well as the responsibility and good reporting following ethical guidelines for the media.
That was the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon talking there after an audience with after receiving members of the National Communications Council. And a staggering 114 billion francs is known to have lost in the year 2023. That revelation was made by the National Anti-Corruption Body, CONAC. And despite too many corruption bodies like CONSUPE and, of course, the National Financial Crimes Body, it is very difficult to stamp out corruption. Ambo Gladys Tibank talked to some experts on why it is difficult to stamp out corruption.
Despite the presence of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, the National Agency for Financial Investigation, ANIF, and the Supreme State Audit, corruption remains pervasive in Cameroon, in addition to a lack of political will, impunity for corrupt acts, weak enforcement mechanisms, and the normalization of corrupt practices within society. Poor management of state funds has been identified as a key factor.
C'est le modèle que nous avons adopté.
The current model of managing state funds is overly bureaucratic and conservative. Projects over 5 million CFA francs require lengthy tender and centralization processes, and there are issues with revenue control due to inadequate regulatory oversight.
The expert adds that while CONAC may present its findings, it is the presidency that ultimately decides how to handle the reports, which are submitted to the accounts chamber. This creates a bottleneck in the fight against corruption with minimal accountability or follow-up. Other points to inertia, nepotism, and aging officials as key contributors to corruption.
Inertia, nepotism, favoritism, and aging managers who fail to conduct surprise inspections allow collaborators to illegally enrich themselves.
The impact of corruption on everyday life in Cameroon is profound, limiting access to essential public service and stifling economic development.
In 2023, 114 billion CFA francs was lost to corruption, money that could have funded essential infrastructure like hospitals, bridges, roads, and many others.
The corruption rate in Cameroon in 2023 increased by 109 billion francs CFA as compared to 4.6 billion CFA francs in 2022. An alarming figure which experts argue needs more comprehensive measures and a multifaceted approach to fight against the cankerworm.
And the campaign to register commercial motorbike riders in the city of Douala has officially kicked off in order to regulate the sector, while the Commercial Bike Riders Union have voiced concerns about the situation. The authorities say it is not immediate, but it shows to get them regulated. Details with Sheriff Asale.
In the early hours of October 1, 2024, tensions were high among motor taxi riders as many anticipated a crackdown from the Douala City Council. Instead of a repressive campaign, the Douala City Council began a sensitization effort aimed at the compulsory identification of all motor taxis.
Tu es obligé que quelqu'un porte le choisi avant de travailler avec tous mes papiers.
Quand on est en route, on nous menace.
Hundreds of drivers gathered at Aqua for the digital registration process, overseen by the municipal police, while some drivers voiced concerns, claiming they were already feeling the pressure. Police emphasized that the goal is to establish order in the motor taxi sector by ensuring all drivers are properly identified. This identification process, launched this October 1, 2024, is a first step towards regulating the profession. Authorities also remind drivers of restricted and regulated zones across the with the hope of streamlining operations and improving safety for both drivers and passengers.
And to move over to Kunki, that is in the West region, as they are facing a lot of challenges.
Gathered at the Ministry of Social Affairs headquarters in Kunki to celebrate their day, elderly citizens represented by spokesperson Henriette Rose highlighted a series of
pressing difficulties they encounter daily. Harriet Rose Wankam, the outgoing president of the Association of Elderly People in Kunki, expressed the urgent need for more comprehensive support. She emphasized they are facing numerous challenges that hinder their quality of life. They urge the government to take their concerns seriously.
Nous n'attendons que l'aide des élites parce que l'État à lui seul ne peut pas porter tout ce gros projet.
Additionally, the construction of a much-needed care and leisure center in the Kunki division has stalled for nearly 3 years, leaving many seniors without adequate facilities for social interaction and support. Lucy Flor Njuanfang Jacques, a delegate from the Ministry of Social Affairs, acknowledged these concerns but assured that the ministry is working towards constructive solutions. Despite the current challenges, he emphasized they are committed to enhancing support for the elderly population and improving their living conditions.
Nous avons beaucoup de personnes âgées, mais nous n'avons pas la place pour se réunir.
The theme of this year celebrates systems for the elderly worldwide, underscores the urgent need for systemic change and support for elderly individuals not only in Kunki but around the globe.
And still in line with the elderly persons, the Minister of Social Affairs, Pauline Rengeli, has urged the young people and policymakers to accord elderly persons the respect and considerations they deserve. In a press conference that took place this Tuesday to mark the